so we're back. You guys will let me know in the comments if it is you guys are hearing me. So welcome to Unspoken Opinions, where we take your opinions and we make them public, where we take the opinions you're afraid to say out loud and we turn them into a discussion. I'm your host, Prophetess Oreen Katoy, and it's such a pleasure to always come and share. So yeah, you guys will let me know again if it is that you guys are hearing me. But let's get right back to it. The first opinion that was shared is some friendships only last because one person keeps shrinking themselves. I'll say it again. Some friendships only last because one person keeps shrinking themselves. Well, in my opinion, that is the truth. Some friendships, some people, I shouldn't even say friendships, but some people do quiet down or hide their true opinions from their friends in order to keep or uphold the friendship. And that is not always good, because you're denying that person that is your friend of the truth. And some people just want to keep the peace in friendships, but it's always very, very, very much important to be who you truly are. If a person truly is your friend, that individual will indeed love you as you are. Never stick or stay in friendships where you have to dumb down or where you have to hide your true light. It is better off to walk away from such a friendship than to maintain it. But what do you guys think? Should the opinion that was shared was some friendships only last because one person keeps shrinking themselves? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me hear your thoughts. Good morning to everyone that is saying good morning. So what do you guys think? Is the statement true? Is it false? What do you guys think? I truly believe that, the people that are meant to be in your life will be in your life. And those that are meant to walk with you will walk with you. So you should never force friendships, and you should never stop being who God has called you to be. This world doesn't need copycats, it needs originals. It needs people who will stand in who they truly are and continue to be, that difference. God didn't create clones, He creates individuals. So here in the comments, I'm looking to see what you guys, think. Good morning, Beverly. I'm seeing you online. What do you think? Do people truly shrink themselves in friendships? Or have you had a friendship where you could not be your true self because you didn't want to hurt the person's that individual's feelings, or you felt like it's best I just be silent, rather than voice my true opinions? Okay, I'm seeing here that you say, I believe if you have to shrink, it's not friendship. Okay. So you guys heard it from Beverly. If it is you have to shrink, it is not a friendship. That's a powerful statement that you just voiced. Okay, so let's move on to the next unspoken opinions, because there's like 10 of them. Not everyone who smiles with you actually wants you to win. Not everyone that smiles with you actually wants you to win. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you agree, or do you agree to disagree? In my opinion, that is the truth. You know, people are very good at hiding, as I mentioned earlier, their true feelings. Sometimes, you know, it is the friends and those that are close to you that are secretly plotting against you and secretly wishing that you would fall. There are many people who who only want to draw close to you in order to know all of your secrets, in order to know your weaknesses, so that they can use it against you. So I'm seeing that Beverly says that she agrees. Does anyone disagree? Isha, welcome. I'm seeing Karen, good day. Good day to you. So the unspoken opinions that we are discussing today is not everyone who smiles with you actually wants you to win. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Do you have experiences where you're like, okay, this person was, you know, all friendly with you, and then later on you found out the person was the one stabbing you in the back? And I want each and every one of you to understand as well that for a person to stab you in your back, the person has to be close enough to you to stab you. Can a person stab you from afar? No, they can't. So keep that in mind. It's only those that are close to you that can stab you in your back. So keep that in mind. So I'm seeing Isha saying that she agrees. All right. Okay. Okay, so we'll move on because we have 10 of these. We'll move on to the next unspoken opinion. If it is you guys have anything else to share, you know, feel free. This platform is available for all of us to voice our opinions. All right, so I'm seeing Karen saying she agrees 100%. Yes, so we are all in agreement. Anybody disagrees, you know, disagreement is welcomed as well. Okay, let's move on. So the third unspoken opinions that was shared to unspokenopinions@yahoo.com was a lot of people are busy. This one made me laugh. A lot of people are busy when they just don't want to prioritize you. So do you agree or do you disagree that people only say that they're busy when they don't want to prioritize you? So have you ever been in such a situation where you have been calling and calling and ringing on that person's phone or messaging that person constantly, and you know time has passed, and when you finally get on to that individual, the person is saying, I was just busy, I was just busy. Do you agree or do you disagree that that person just didn't prioritize you? I will say yes. If it is a person wants to speak to you, they will. You know, there are 24 hours in a day and it only takes a few seconds to respond to a message. Now, yes, I understand that people are busy. I do get that. But a whole week passes and you did not respond to a message. How busy are you? So if it is you were that individual's priority, you know, that person will indeed respond to your messages. But you know, what do you guys say? I'm seeing Zion Sun, welcome essay. Peace unto you as well. Karen says sometimes. Okay, Karen, elaborate. Let us know what your true thoughts are. Do you not agree? You know that some people only say they're busy because you're not their priority. You're not, you know, the most important person in their life. So, okay, share your opinions. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to share. Okay, so I'm waiting. I'm giving you time to send in your opinions. Okay, so Beverly says, well, according if the person is just being annoying and just calling for nothing of importance. Yeah, it has some people who just don't, take a hint. It has some people who just don't understand that um, you have things to do. You have a lot of things at home or at work to do. I agree. I agree. Uh, Good morning, Betty Ann. Good morning. Good morning. So the topic that we are discussing is a lot of people are busy when they just don't want to prioritize you. Like they say they're busy when they don't really want to consider talking to you. So Isha Sugar says she agrees. Karen, is your opinion that I'm waiting on before we move on to the next one? Because I'm really curious as to why you said sometimes. And if anyone else had anything else to say, feel free to mention it. We are here to all learn. We are learning from each other. And it's not just Prophetess Orion on top of the platform speaking, it's all of you that is speaking as well. Your voice, your opinions, it matters. Okay, good morning, Tanisha, Tintin, Pierre. We welcome you. So a lot of people, the topic that we are discussing, the unspoken opinion that we are discussing, is a lot of people are busy when they just don't want to prioritize you. Have you ever been in such a situation where you've called someone, you probably won't ring it down their phone and they did not respond to you in a timely manner? When I mean timely manner, I'm talking about over a 3 day period, because people really do have things, they might have been sick and not able to respond to your message. Okay, so Karen, she sends some call as nuisance. Okay, so it's like, okay, some people just call to harass you, and sometimes you just don't want to speak to, such people. I've learned that, sometimes, you could take a step back and just let people know, okay, I'm not taking calls right now, or I'm not taking messages right now. But the reality is, we should always, make ourselves available, as available as we can, because we do have other things to do. We should always make ourselves as available, because you never truly know what an individual is calling for. Sometimes there are people that are calling because they just need a listening ear, and you could have been, that voice that could have been a voice that God could use to help, that person in that situation. Because there are people out here who are hurting, they are depressed, they are going through a lot, and sometimes you just need someone that they can speak with. Okay, so I'm seeing Beverly saying, Prophetess, if the person is close or a companion spouse, I will say yes, or look into it. Okay, Betty Ann says, to be honest, I sometimes say so, especially when I need a quiet time. Yes, you have to know your boundaries, you have to know your limits. If it is you feel like you just can't, entertain people at a particular time, it is always good to take that step back and work on you. Okay, good morning, Sarah. Sarai. Okay, so let's move on to the next unspoken opinions. So, okay. Many people stay in relationships. Yes, many people stay in relationships because they fear being alone more than being unhappy. Many people stay in relationships because they fear being alone more than being unhappy. Do you guys agree? Do you think that people stay in relationships because They just want to be, in a relationship, and they don't care about their happiness? Are they settling for mistreatment because they just don't want to be alone? What do you guys think? What are your views? I think it has some truth to it. Some people are afraid to walk away when they know that they're in a toxic relationship. Some people are afraid of just being single, and it's really unfortunate that people won't do what they need to do in order to find something that is more healthy, or something that actually brings joy to them. It does not serve any, in my opinion, it doesn't serve an individual any purpose to stay in a relationship that robs you of your joy, your sanity, and your peace. Now, am I saying just because you and your spouse had a disagreement that you're ready to run? No. I'm saying that if it's like, for example, if it's an abusive relationship, the man is beating on you, you're fearful for your life. That is not a relationship to stay in because you're afraid to be alone. That's a relationship to pick up and run from. And yes, some people stay because of children, some people stay because of security, but the reality is you have to be honest with yourself. Check, observe the pros and cons to that relationship. If there's more pros than cons, then you stay. If there's more cons than pros, then you leave. And that's my opinion. So Beverly says that she agrees. What Share a little bit more, Beverly. Why do you agree? In my opinion, live life without regrets. That's my opinion to this whole thing. Live life without regrets. Live your best life. And if it is you're in a situation where you're not happy, if you're in a situation where you don't feel safe, you don't feel seen, you don't feel understood, then you probably should leave. Now, am I saying this in terms of marriage? Marriage is different than a relationship, but you just have to know what you're willing to put up with and what you're not. So I'll leave that there for you guys. Okay, Karen Bartholomew, she says, no, if you believe that you are insignificant, you can walk away. Yes, Karen, I truly agree. Okay, welcome Aisha Williams. So the topic that we are discussing before I move on is many people stay in relationships because they fear being alone more than being unhappy. Are any of you afraid of being alone? That's why you're still in that relationship with that man who is cheating on you, is basically speaking down to you, or with that woman that is basically only using you for your money. We live in a real world, and people experience real problems. You owe it to yourself, not just to be happy, but you owe it to yourself to be at peace. And that's my opinion where relationships is concerned. Okay, so we'll move on to the next unspoken opinions. Okay. Success changes how people treat you, especially those who knew you before. Success changes how people treat you, especially those who knew you before. Have you ever had a moment of success, like let's say you accomplished a task, or you started a business, or you did something that you were very proud of, and Your friends started operating with you differently. They started looking at you differently. Okay. They started looking at you differently, and they started treating you different. Like they started making comments, these critical comments, and saying, who you feel you are, just remember to be humble. But the reality is you have always tried to be humble. Have you ever experienced anything like that, where you experience success? Success doesn't necessarily only have to do with business and finances. It could be that you got married. That is your idea of success. Whatever your idea of success is. Have you ever experienced friendships or people that have changed their perspective on you because of it? Or have people started distancing themselves from you as soon as you became successful? Or the opposite, has people drawn closer to you because of your success? What do you guys think? Afria say amen to that. Okay. I believe the statement is true. It is the truth. Sometimes when a person, it works on both sides. It happens on both sides. Sometimes when a person becomes successful, they distance themselves from their friends. And there is the other side where when an individual becomes successful, their friends distance themselves from that person. Is it always right? No. Because just because an individual becomes successful doesn't mean they should drop all their friends that were there with them. But I also want to make mention that there are seasons where God will strip you of people or of people in your space. But it doesn't mean, okay, let's say you won a lottery. Am I telling you guys to go and, play lottery? No. But I'm saying you won a lottery, you won a great sum of money, and all of a sudden you feel you're better than everybody else, and you drop all your friends, like, I'm above you, you can't talk to me. No, it's always important to remain humble. Yes, it's always important to keep in mind that, just as you rose up, you can fall back down, and you're going to need people to help you and assist you. So don't get heady. Don't be arrogant and start thinking that you are, Jesus Christ himself. Always remember that humility is very important to maintain success. Keep that in mind. It could work with finances. It could work with any area of your life. Success, whatever success means to you, humility is what drives success, not arrogance. Pride comes before a fall. Okay, so I'm seeing Casey saying, yes, it's true both ways. Tanisha saying distance. Okay. So let's move on to the next unspoken opinion. This one here is very deep. I took some time and I thought about it. It says social media confidence often hides real life insecurity. Social media confidence often hides real life insecurity. Do you believe that those that are only posting things online are hiding insecurity? Like they want to be seen because behind closed doors they're not being seen? Or, okay, Casey says, yes, this is why you find out who your true friends are before you enter that place of success. Okay, so she's referring to the previous unspoken opinions. And yes, Casey, I totally agree to you. You will see who your friends are, yes. That's a great point to make. So, back to the unspoken opinions that we are discussing. Success changes how... Okay, sorry. Social media confidence often hides real life insecurity. Do you guys agree? I have something to say on both sides. In terms of Yes, in some cases, some people only want to post online because they want to be seen, because they want to be heard, because they want to be famous, they want all the numbers and all these different things. But on the other side, some people just really are genuinely confident. And God also taught us not to judge because you never truly know what goes on in the mind or the heart of an individual. Only God searches the hearts. So I'll say it's I don't really totally agree 100%, but what do you guys have to say? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Okay, I'm seeing Tanisha saying true. All right. Anyone else? Okay. So Afria says sometimes someone can be antisocial. Okay. Okay. Come out with the knowledge. Sometimes someone can be antisocial or lack communication skills, and um, they express themselves more on social media. Okay. Okay. So behind closed doors, you're saying that the person's just shy, and on social media is where they're getting to um, voice. They're getting to speak. They're getting that voice to say things that they normally can't behind closed doors. All right. Okay, Afira, I am listening, and I understand, what you are sharing, and that's a good point as well. Okay, so I'm saying Casey saying not necessarily. Casey, come on. Not necessarily meaning what? Okay, I'm seeing Karen saying very true. Casey, elaborate on not necessarily. Let's understand what point of view you're coming from. When it comes to confidence, um, it's something that comes from within, and we all know this. um, but I really like Freya Jacobs' unspoken opinion. Her opinion to that unspoken opinion. I really like how she voiced it. Some people are truly antisocial, and that's a good point as well. Come on, Casey, we're waiting on you. Anyone else have any thoughts or views on that particular topic? Okay, so Casey says it's 50-50 honesty. So Casey, you had us waiting. You had us waiting just for that little short line. Okay, Casey. We get you. We get you. Okay, let's move on. Okay. So the next unspoken opinions is some family members. Wow, this one, yeah. Some family members only respect boundaries once you start distancing yourself. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do your family members only respect you when you distance yourself? Do your family members only take you seriously when you pull away and let them know, okay, this is one of my boundaries? So if it is you will not respect my boundaries, then maybe my silence will speak loudly for me. Do you guys agree? Or disagree? Okay, so I'm saying here, Casey says, yes, those that are introverted would faster go online to express their opinions to the world. Okay, okay. Let's see. She's speaking about the previous unspoken opinions. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm saying Beverly, Robert saying, not really. Why do you say not really, Beverly? Why do you say not really? Good morning, Natalie. Welcome. So we're waiting. So the unspoken opinions that we are discussing is some family members only respect boundaries once you start distancing yourself. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Casey, if it is you're still online, can you please bring my computer's charger for me? I can't believe I forgot that. Right, so um it's always good to have your own personal boundaries, but the reality is that a conversation is always very important. If it is you feel like you're not being heard, or if it is you feel like people are not respecting your boundaries, instead of distancing yourself, hoping that they would understand what that means, it's very important to just have a conversation with your loved ones and let them know, okay, this thing that you're doing, I consider it as disrespectful and I do not like it, and I would like for you to stop. So that's my opinion. Communication is always the key. It's very important for us to understand that God gave us a mouth for us to use. So use your mouth and let the people that you love know and understand your perspective on a thing. Okay, so Beverly says, because sometimes separation is not always good. Yes. Okay, Natalie says she agrees. Karen says boundaries have consequences to reclaim yourself from abuse. Okay, okay. So Karen went all the way, and she said, if it is that you are experiencing, abuse by your family member, abused by your family members, it's important to, yes, distance yourself in such cases so that you can find yourself again, in her opinion. Yes. Okay. So Beverly says that she agrees. You guys, I'm trying my best not to throw my voice too much. Okay, thank you, Casey. Thank you so much. God's blessings to you. Right, so yes. Where were we? Okay, so the next unspoken opinions that we will be discussing today is, I actually love this one. Apologies are often given to end conflict, not because someone truly understands the harm they caused. Have you ever been in such a situation where the person is only saying sorry because they just want peace and not because they actually do care about the hurt that they caused? Do you guys agree or disagree? Okay, so I'm seeing Natalie saying here, there are some people, no matter what you say to them, they don't always see what you see. Okay, I believe that's pertaining to the previous unspoken opinions, which dealt with family members and respecting your boundaries. Yes, that's true. So let's go back to. Okay, okay. So I'm seeing some more comments where you guys are saying sometimes it's the only way you can be respected. All right, and that's how. So you believe that distancing yourself is how you will be respected by your family members. So we're back on the previous unspoken opinions, and it's all right. We can go back and forth. Um, so Natalie is also saying to them they are never wrong, and so sometimes separation is good. All right. So what you guys are saying is basically if it is the people or your family members just aren't listening to you, probably you should separate yourself in order for your own peace. Okay, I understand. Yes, Natalie says sometimes it brings peace. Okay, okay. So let's move on to the next unspoken opinions, where we speak about apologies are often given to end conflict, not because someone truly understands the harm they caused. Have you ever apologized to someone, not because you believe they were right, but because you wanted to keep the peace? Have you ever been in such a situation where you're saying, okay, well, I know you're wrong. I don't really agree to your behavior, but let me apologize just for you to be silent because the person probably was arguing too much, and you're just like, okay, I'm just apologize so you will shut up. Have you ever been in such a situation, or do you agree to this unspoken opinion? Have you been in such a heated argument? Because we're all human. Have you been in such a heated argument and you're saying to yourself, okay, let me be the bigger one and apologize even though you're the wrong one? Have you all ever experienced such a thing? Or is it just me? So Freya Jacob says, I think if you know the individual, you will know if their sorry is genuine. Okay. So, okay, I have a question for you, Freya. Um, the question is, should you not say sorry if it is you know you're not going to be genuine? Do you believe a person shouldn't apologize unless they're genuine? In my opinion, God said, um, blessed are the peacemakers, right? So, for us to be peacemakers, sometimes you just need to say you're sorry, but it's very important to mean it. Sometimes being the bigger person doesn't mean that you are right. Sometimes being the bigger person means keeping the peace. Now, should you genuinely apologize? Yes. So I'm telling you guys, genuinely mean it's when you say you're sorry. Now, if it is you've said some things that hurt the person's feelings, that's probably what you should be apologizing for. But the reality is, you should not just say sorry because actually mean it while still keeping the peace. Because arguments can turn into heated discussions. Heated discussions can become physical. And what we don't want happening is you losing connections to those that are close to you because of your inability to apologize. Okay, so Natalie Williams says, yes, I have just for the peace of mind, okay? So she says she has done it just for the peace of mind. You know, sometimes, you know, it's just like, okay, you're being a little bit too much. Okay, I understand. Beverly says she agrees according to the depth of the argument and how often it repeats itself. I may mean the sorry or may not. Beverly, what do you mean you don't mean it? Okay. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so I'm seeing Aisha saying, yes, I apologize to bring peace even though they were wrong. Right, blessed are the peacemakers. Continue being the peacemakers. Okay, so yes, Casey says, yeah, peace is so expensive these days and misunderstandings are real. So yes, I'm sorry while my thoughts are saying you misunderstood me. So Casey is a psychologist, right? And for those of you who are in need of, you know, counseling, mostly males, or you know a guy that needs counseling, like you're watching this guy and you're saying to yourself, okay, I know you need counseling, like you need somebody to talk to. Casey is available. She has a business that she not recently started called I See You Counseling, meaning I see you. And this is more for men who are in need of counseling, because men do need counseling too. So if it is, you know, a guy that needs counseling, please refer them to Casey Couture. She is a psychologist. She has the degree for it, and she will help, you know, whichever male is leading your life or is in your life. So yes, but anyways, back to Afria. Afria said, well, they should have, well, they should state why they are not sorry, and you, the individual, know it's facts. Okay, 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 okay. That's enough said. I don't need to say anything else. Afria. Okay, so let's move on to the next unspoken opinion. Okay, so it says being the strong one usually means, right. Being the strong one usually means you don't get checked on. Y'all did not see me struggling on that word just now. Okay. So being the strong one usually means you don't get checked on. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Because you're the strong one in your family, people don't come and ask you, are you okay? Do you agree to disagree? Because you're the strong one, because you're the one upholding the family, because you're the peacemaker, because you're the counselor, because you're the one that always have the advice. Do you believe that being the strong one means that you don't get checked on? People don't come and ask you, are you okay today? How are you doing today? Are you right mentally? You know, is there anything going on in your life that you want to talk about? In my opinion, it is the truth. You know, when people see your strength, they sometimes forget that there are moments where you are weak. There are moments where you feel like giving up. They forget sometimes that you are human as well, and you're not a superhero. You're not Jesus Christ. So you do have emotions, and life does affect you as well. And it's always important to check in on those that you consider as strong ones. You never know what situation they may be encountering. You never know what battles they may be facing mentally or emotionally. Sometimes, you know, that person may have lost a loved one and they're hurting, or sometimes the person may have experience a loss, or in terms of a relationship broke, and they're just going through, you know, mentally and feeling the most. And I totally believe that just because an individual is strong doesn't mean that they don't have weak moments. And that's my opinion. Because if it is we want to mirror it to the Bible, when Jesus was in, I believe it was Gethsemane, he had a moment of weakness where he said, Lord, take this cup from me. God, in human form, had a moment of weakness where he said, take this cup from me, meaning I don't want to do this no more. I now see what I'm about to do, and I'm about to give my life for all these people, and I don't know if I want to be beaten. I don't know if I want to have my skin ripped off of the flesh. I don't know if I want to take all the sin upon my body and all the pain that everybody in the past, present, and future would ever feel. I don't know if it is I want to die for the world right now. So that was that moment that Jesus was having, and we thank him that he, changed his mind and said, not my will, but your will be done. So even God had a moment in human form of weakness. So who are we? Who are we? So I'm seeing Freya saying facts, Beverly saying I agree, Natalie saying I agree, and Isha Sugar saying I agree. Okay, so for the last unspoken opinions, because we gotta go, you guys, the unspoken opinion was, sometimes the hardest truth is realizing you outgrew a version of yourself, and some people preferred the smaller you. Sometimes the hardest truth is realizing you outgrew a version of yourself, and some people preferred the smaller you. Okay, I totally agree. Life is all about growth. Life is all about progress. Life is all about change. Baby never stays a baby. A baby becomes an adult, right? A plant never stays a seed. It turns into a tree. So life is all about change. And in my opinion, we do outgrow the last season of ourselves, or we do outgrow that last version of ourselves. So if it is, some people prefer who you were in the past than who you are now. There's a statement that I heard, and it's something that I always hold on to, that I will share with you, each and every one of you. When people from the past come and say, oh yeah, I know you, I was like, no, you don't know me. You knew me. Meaning you knew that version of me. You knew who I used to be. You don't know me. You knew me. So that's something that each and every one of you can hold on to. In life you will grow, and if it is a person who wants you to stay where you are, that person does not have your best interests, because life is all about progressing and moving forward and doing new things. And in order for you to be the best version of yourself, you have to grow. So it means that you will experience change after change after change after change, and seasons upon seasons. Everything is not going to stay the same forever. And if a person wants you to stay the same, they do not want you to grow. Relationship experiences, changes, and people need to understand that, a person is not going to remain how they used to be. Hopefully they're changing for the better, not for the worse, but change always happens. So I'm seeing Natalie saying she agrees. Isha Sugar, she agrees. Beverly Roberts, I agree much. Ayana Roboto, facts. Ayana Roboto, God is pulling you out of that pit. I'm not trying to prophesy right now, but God is pulling you out of that pit. Natalie Williams is saying that is so true. Ayana Roboto, yeah, okay. So Kevin, welcome. Good morning to you. Well, we're leaving, but it's a pleasure to have you here. And I'm also seeing Maneuver, you're coming on. Okay, I'll give you guys just a few more minutes probably to answer. Sometimes the unspoken opinion that we are discussing is sometimes the hardest truth is realizing you outgrew a version of yourself, and some people preferred the smaller you. Yes, some people rather you be how you are, but as soon as you get up and heal, as soon as you get up and chase after your deliverance, after your freedom in Christ Jesus, people prefer you to be that bound version of yourself. Before you could have been a person that used to be cursing, I'm being real. You could have been an individual that used to curse, and then God changed you, and because of that change, you're no longer cursing, and you're no longer going places that you used to go. In terms of, you used to go clubbing before, or you used to go parties before, and then now you're changed, and all your friends are like saying to you, I don't like this new version of you, the new version of you that don't go to parties, the new version of you that don't curse. I don't like this new version of you that eats healthy, that exercise, that obtains, themselves. I don't like the version of you that is progressing, trying to get, do business. I don't like the version of you that is aiming for greater peace or searching for a greater relationship with God. I prefer you when you were bound. I prefer you when you didn't think for yourself. I preferred you when you didn't love yourself enough to walk away from that abusive relationship. I preferred you when you allowed me to beat on you. And for me to voice that, there's someone here that is experiencing that right now. But because you got up and chose to love yourself, and that's what change is. It's you choosing to love yourself. It's you choosing not to stay in bondage. It's you choosing not to remain where you are. It's you choosing to grow. It's you choosing to pick yourself up and say, enough is enough. I want to be better. We are not competing with others. We're competing with ourselves. And that's how we all should look at ourselves. We compete with ourselves. Don't compare yourself to someone else. Compare yourself to you. Okay, I was this way in this season. Now I'm going to be this way in this next season because I am changing for the better. If you're not changing for the better, you're changing for the worse. And who's really at fault? Who's really hurting? Who's really hurting in that situation? You are the one that's hurting. Love yourself enough to be the best version of yourself. No excuses. You deserve the best version of yourself. Okay, so I'm seeing, I don't think I didn't see the opinions. Okay, so I'm seeing Casey says, yeah, that's so true. You're not the same person that you were 7 years ago. Sometimes when the person didn't want to change, hold on. Yes, sometimes when the person didn't want you to change, is because they themselves didn't change. They just lived, and it's sad. Live each day without regret. That's my advice where that is concerned. Live each day without regret. If you are the same person from 7 years ago, then you did not grow. Okay, Aisha says, agree. Some people don't like to see you grow because they want you to be like them. Yes. Kevin says, true, grow, be better than yesterday. Yes. Natalie says, even if you choose to move from a church, change is good. Yes. Yes. If it is you're in a church and the church is spiritually dead, you staying in a church, you are going to be spiritually dead. So keep that in mind. Okay. So that's it. Anyone else have anything else to say? Because we got to go. No? Okay, so that's it, everyone. I believe today was very interesting. It was successful, in my opinion. And I truly appreciate all of the opinions that were shared, everything that you guys, opened up and revealed. And I truly believe that I learned a lot from each and every one of you. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you. So meet me here again next week, Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and we will be doing this again with more unspoken opinions. So if it is you have an unspoken opinions that you want us to discuss, I got you. You can send your unspoken opinions at yahoo.com and it will remain anonymous. Notice I'm not calling any names. So it will remain anonymous. So send your unspoken opinions to unspokenopinion at yahoo.com and always remember you are